Hello guys and welcome back. It's been months since we've shot an episode and I'm super excited. We are on season 2. It's incredible. Change and tact a little bit this season. Why Do Men was all about the weird male behaviour that we see in dating relationships. So things like ghosting, jealousy, avoidance, fearing rejection. But you know what? We kind of covered most of the topics that we were looking to. So for season 2, we're going to broaden it out. We're changing the name slightly. It's called Why Do I? And it's all about reflecting on relationship behaviours and patterns that you might have seen in yourself or in others. I'm really excited today because we are joined by an incredible guest, Sasha Pallari, and we're going to talk a bit about how you know and find the right partner. So welcome, Sasha. Tell us a bit about yourself.
What do you want to know?
I would love to know a bit about your background and why you're here. How do we know each other?
Well, I actually just showed you. I watched your episode of Love is Blind,
You did.
and it was on a vlog of mine on YouTube, and I was crying because I was like, oh no. It's not happening. And then I cried about all the other contestants. I was really in my feels in August 2024.
Did you get any of your hot takes right? Who did you like and who collapsed and burned?
No, I got everyone wrong.
Yeah, it often happens.
Yeah, fair.
So,
but it is what it is. It's that, like you said, it's showbiz. It's edited a certain way.
it is.
So I created a campaign back in 2020. It wasn't meant to be a campaign, but I just started talking about damage of filters and confidence with and without makeup, and sort of empowering women to just show up exactly as they are, whether they've got a full face on or whether they're just in their pajamas. And it just went absolutely crackers and changed the advertising guidelines online.
Incredible. Were you quite active on social media before you started that? Or?
Not really. I had a makeup business.
Yeah.
And I just used to talk about, I did talk about confidence. I'd done a couple of like really intimate small confidence events with like makeup as a focus, but no, not really. And then lockdown happened and we were just all on our phones. And I remember scrolling thinking, whoa, no one's skin is on show. It's all filtered.
Incredible.
Just sort of talk about it. And then now I just chat shit for a living.
I mean, I've been following you for a while, right? And we were talking before we shot about, it feels like I know you.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's because of how like relatable and real your content is.
Oh, thank you. That's kind.
But do you have a particular audience? Like, presumably you're speaking predominantly to women?
Huge women. Yeah, huge
Yeah,
female.
yeah.
I think it's like 97% female.
Uh-huh.
And I love that. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I want it to be, it's, obviously empower everyone. But for me, I think the sort of overarching scrutiny that women are under to look a certain way is something that I've always been quite passionate to bat against.
Yeah. And I mean, I think the best word I'd use to describe your content is like real. Like it is very real.
You.
And I suppose there is probably a bit of societal pressure to look a certain way or perform a certain way on something as sanitized as social media, right? But like, how do you find navigating that, like being that authentic?
Do you know what? That's such a good question. I think for me, first of all, I accept my privileges. Like, I am an able-bodied white woman. I already have a lot of advantages in order to accept that I look a certain way, right?
Yeah.
I've had huge sort of pulls towards weight when I've spoken about that in the past. I've sort of recently lost weight, but prior to that I was sort of very confident in showing my body in whatever size it was. And I think that just, I don't know, I think people related to it. And I've always been the sort of person that I'm attracted to people as opposed to like what you see on the front cover. And I think I can't genuinely believe that if I'm not showing that myself. And I also just I'm just a bit of a loser. I'm a bit of a goon. I just think I can't really hide that even if I tried. So I just get a camera comes out and just shit just starts happening. I don't know.
But I think it's very, very difficult to show your true self on social because you're aware that like, first you've got an algorithm that you need to try and cater to and your audience is super engaged. Like I feel
mental.
like if you put out a video of you like
cleaning the bins,
I mean, that stuff bangs on your channel.
Did you see me go up into the loft the other day?
Yeah, very, very impressed.
Thank you.
So, but so there's an element of like authenticity, but then do you struggle to find a divide between your private life and your private life? If that makes sense.
Yeah, I do. And I really pride myself on what you see is what you get. Like that is a quality that I'm very, very confident in with myself. And I love nothing more than if someone says to me, oh my God, you're exactly the same in real life as you are online. That to me is such a compliment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard because I share a lot and I'm very considered with what I do share, but it gets, as I'm sure we're going to talk about it, it can get complicated if you share everything and then you're like, oh shit, it's out there now. And like, what am I going to do?
No, it's a great segue. Thank you for doing my job for me.
You're welcome.
So, because obviously relationships, like for me, relationships are the most important part of being a human. They're the key to happiness for me, right? And I'm in quite a new relationship with a romantic partner, and I've toed and froed a little bit about whether or not I shared a hard launch, which lost me 600 followers. Awkward. But
that's because you've got a female audience and they don't want to see that you're happy and in love.
They don't want to hear me talking about feelings and emotions.
Yeah, thirsty women don't care you're happy, Tom.
God, I'm not a piece of meat. I've got a soul. But I do take it like there are different reasons why people follow you, right? Just like you might get followed by men who are lustful, men, and that's okay. Like you come to terms with that. You cannot curate your own audience, right? Yeah. But my first question was going to be, how much of your relationship were you happy sharing on social, and were there any negatives or drawbacks to that?
So I guess in the period of me being on social media, I've had 2 relationships that have been on there. One of them overlapped because we were already together. Yeah. So I'd say that I've had a social presence since 2020. So 5 years. And in amongst those 5 years was a wedding. So that's pretty public. And then a divorce. And then I said at that time, I will never put anyone on social media. And then I put him on social media. And now I've had a breakup. Yeah. So they're like, I guess, 4 kind of big, huge things that I've shared. But at the same time, if I reflect on the pain I felt navigating between private life and private life, and the DMs and messages I've received from women, it is worth every single moment shared to have made someone feel the way that I've made them feel. And like, I cannot tell you the amount of overwhelm I feel when I get a message from someone telling me that they've left their husband because they're unhappy and they realised it, and thank me for helping them navigate that. I'm like, Jesus Christ, don't, that's not what I've set out to do. But I think there's something quite special about me just showing up as I am, showing the highs, the lows, the shiny bits, the big Italian wedding, and then the divorce afterwards, that have just perhaps made women feel that like, right, I can do this. Yeah. And I am proud of that.
I guess that's the difference, right? It's if you are showing up in a performative way on social, where you're like, we're so in love, this is amazing, we've known each other 3 weeks, and then 2 months later there's like hey guys, public statement, me and Jeff have decided to go our separate ways, we're still going to love each other, we're splitting custody of the dog. Like that's very different. You have to show the journey and the feeling, like, and I really wish that that's what social media was used for. Yeah. Because my business partner with the men's community I run, Dan, he had a big breakup last year, and he really, really suffered from it, and he struggled. He calls it finding a spark. He charts every single moment of that, and so many people feel seen, heard, acknowledged by it because they're going through the same stuff. Yeah. So, and I think social media can be quite damaging sometimes, but when you use it in an authentic way, it can become very relatable to people.
Yep, for sure.
Let's get into it.
Okay, let's go.
The focal point of the episode is about understanding what you want, right, when it comes to a romantic partner.
A sexy rich man.
A sexy rich man. All right, I don't think there are any other crew. No, bootstrap series, sadly. There are so many different parts to this, and what I've come to realise as I've gotten older is that what I thought an important thing in a romantic relationship isn't an important thing anymore. Mm-hmm. So I wondered if we could start with that. I wonder if we could start with, if you were to summarise now based off everything you've learned in your relationships, what do you think you're looking for?
I think that so it's really funny, and I know that you know this, but the universe or whoever it is in charge really played like a bit of a rom-com on me by gifting me 2 men with the same name, born in the same year, raised in different galaxies, and there was not a single comparison that you could have drawn other than those 2 things. And I think when I met my husband, I was 22. He was 7 years older, and he was like quite established. He had his career. He worked in finance. He was calm, sensible. Yeah. And I think there was a part of me at that age that really fell in love with the stability
Sure.
And even though the love and affection and sort of physical connection was compromised, I kind of ignored it because I was like, but it's okay because.
Yeah.
And we went on really extravagant holidays, and it was all quite, I'm not disputing in the 9 years together, we had some great times, but they say, don't they, lover, partner, best friend, and you kind of want to find someone that has elements of all three. And we were just a really great team. We worked so well together. We lived well together.
Yeah.
We got through everything together. But in terms of physical connection and emotional connection, it was always, I think, below what I crave in a man and crave in a relationship. And then flip to part two. That was everything I never wanted, never thought I needed, never saw coming. Actually tried to refuse quite profusely in the beginning. And that showed me a love I didn't even know existed, and held me in a way that I didn't even know possible. So I think I need someone in the middle.
It's very complicated to navigate that.
Yeah.
But do you think, looking back on it now, that your first relationship where you were craving that stability, structure, security, was it because you hadn't had those things as a child? Is there anything that you could sort of reflect on to understand why at such a young age you were looking for those things?
Well, my parents divorced when I was 11.
Yeah.
And it was, loved them. They did the best with what they had at the time, but it was quite a hostile divorce, I would say. It wasn't sort of like plain sailing. And I'm also the eldest daughter. So that just comes with its own complications of growing up quite quickly and not sort of being able to be a kid and having to deal with all these emotions in a household. And I think when my husband came along, that sort of wash of calm, and it was good. It was nice. And then that's what's so interesting about the second huge love of my life, is that brought out this really fun, silly, I accept you in every way that you are type of love.
Yeah.
And to have that safety and love is a really special thing and a really rare thing to find. But it was just sort of a cruel, I guess, circumstance that timings, logistics, alignments, his past, his traumas, and my past and my traumas and requirements and stuff, they just ended up misaligning further down the line of our relationship.
But there were elements of the first relationship which presumably you were looking for in the second, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Total opposite.
Yeah.
Total opposite.
You ever heard that Jay Shetty thing where he talks about relationships? Talks about the three big relationships in your life.
Three big loves of your life.
Yeah. And you did it the other way around. But it's still relevant. Whereas the first one is the firework, where it's super exciting and explosive and probably a little bit dangerous emotionally. And the second one's the candle, which is soft and steady and light. And then the third one is the mirror.
Peace.
Yeah, well, it's the person who sees you for all of you and all your flaws and all your vulnerabilities, and is like, I'm going to step in, and I'm going to reflect that person back on them because I love them so much.
I do think that love number two did that.
Yeah.
I do think we did that for each other, but I think it only went so far. Just the alignments and logistics of life were what forced us apart.
Yeah.
And there was so much love there, and I will forever be grateful to both of them. I wouldn't be who I am today if I hadn't gone through those relationships and learned what I learned. And I'm also really proud that I have two really peaceful with love breakups. There was no toxic fireworks or anything like that. They were both navigated with so much understanding and love. And me and my ex-husband, we meet at a service station to drop the dogs off. It's hilarious.
Which one is there? Do you want to call it out so your fans can come and meet your dogs?
Oh, what service station?
M6 service station.
Gordano M5.
Right, was it? Yeah, okay, lovely. Wetherspoons?
No, Wetherspoons.
Right.
What service station do you have at Wetherspoons?
The biggest Wetherspoons in the country. M1 services.
Oh, I don't really go
massive.
on the M1 That's London to Leicester.
Yeah.
My dad lives in Leicester.
Right, solid. See, often there.
Not a fan of a Wetherspoons, got to be honest.
Fucking weird having a pub on a motorway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm
not into that.
Anyway, we digress. Your breakups.
Yeah.
I've been through two big breakups in my life as well. And they completely tore me apart. Even though they were both very, very mutual, and very, very respectful, like you said. I took a lot of that on me and my own shortcomings, right? And I have a habit as a human being of like really, really interrogating myself and often blaming myself a lot when sometimes it's just not that deep. But tell me a little bit about, particularly your most recent breakup, your reaction to it. Was there anything that you discovered about yourself, or was there anything which you thought, oh God, that's hurt me more than I thought it would?
So I think, again, with logistics being involved, going through the divorce, and like I said, having met him when I was 22, left him when I was 31, I had a lot of finding my feet to do. By making that decision, I explain it as I had ripped the rug from under my own feet. We owned a house together. We had built financial stability together. We had 2 dogs. We could have kind of gone on any holiday that we wanted to go on. Like, we were in a really sort of settled, secure place. So for me to say, I'm leaving and I'm choosing myself, was I threw my own grenade type thing, which at the time was so disruptive to every part of my life and my center and whatever. But it was the best and bravest thing I think I could have ever done, now looking back on it. But that does mean that I had a lot of learning to do myself, because I didn't have that support there anymore in all of the ways that he did support me. So I had to learn all of that myself. So then when that carried me through my second breakup, I was in a stronger position. I was in a financial, solo, stable position. I owned my own house. I have my own business. I have my dogs. I'm like responsible for them. And I think the foundations were less like wobbly. They couldn't be disrupted in the same way as that first breakup.
Sure.
But the emotional connection of us as partners was very hard to navigate. But I never had any doubt once we decided that it was the right thing to do.
And it was a mutual decision.
Yeah, it was mutual.
Do you find that when you're the person that's, say, in the instance of your first relationship, where you're taking the lead on that decision, where you feel like this isn't right for me, did that almost disregard your willingness to feel sad about it because you've made that decision?
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
Because I found that so much.
Did you beat yourself up?
I was like, I'm sad about feeling sad because I shouldn't feel sad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
the guilt I felt was heartbreaking. It was so weird. The only way I can describe it is that all of these other emotions just overtook that first breakup. Like, I couldn't even really I couldn't even grieve us breaking up because I was just too busy grieving the fact that I'd done all of this and I'd chosen to do this. And bearing in mind, I didn't choose it knowing 1000% I've made the right decision. I chose it knowing that I could no longer ignore these feelings that were it was hard, really, really hard.
And honestly, I can relate to this so much because I felt at the time, and I still reflect on this now, this breakup was 8 years ago, but it was someone that I was with for a long time. We lived together, and it was like you're throwing away something which feels so perfect. Mm-hmm. And what I often found was that people would look at us as like the dream couple.
Yeah.
You know? And so then, and we'll talk about friends in a minute, but when we break up, they'd be like,
but why?
Why?
Yeah.
You're beautiful together. And we were. That was, and that would make me question whether or not I'd made the right decision.
Yeah.
So it's really hard because I would be horrible to myself. My self-talk would be like, you're an arsehole because you've broken a heart and you've made a terrible decision for your own life as well. And I felt lost for years after that, so alone.
Yeah, I did grieve so much of that through. It took me a few years, and it wasn't because obviously I was in the relationship, so I met my second partner really, really quickly.
Yeah.
But I was still grieving the life that we'd built together, that we'd worked so hard for, that all of the challenges that we'd overcome, we'd got the other end of.
Yeah.
It was so complicated to be a woman who was in a position that on paper most women would dream of.
Exactly.
And then I'm choosing to walk away
from it. How dare you want more? It's that sort of narrative.
And I think now the difference is I'm in a really confident position that, do you know what? The things that I want, I'm so okay with wanting now. And I haven't ever felt like that before.
Yeah.
I am so strong, headstrong in knowing and understanding what I want from the next person who walks into my life, and hopefully neither of us walk back out of.
And what are those things?
I just think that I want someone who, I'm not into this whole like, you know, the never settle stuff.
Yeah.
The never settle noise.
Okay.
Pisses me off a bit, right?
Yeah.
Because I think when you're really loud about you don't settle for this, don't settle for that, you're then projecting that you are some perfect, healed, whole human being.
Yeah, right.
And then that expectation is on another person. I am by no means perfect. I still have things to learn. I still have things to improve and navigate and work through. So I'm not looking for someone to come into my life as like a picture perfect situation.
Yeah.
But I think the requirements that I have in terms of physical affection, emotional maturity, emotional intelligence, like how do you navigate disagreements and conflict and stuff like that? And is it going to be a situation where someone's going to scream at me? No, that's never happening.
Yeah.
Is it going to be someone who's going to walk out whilst I'm crying, explaining how I feel? No, that's never happening. Like all of these things, I will just never let happen to me again or whatever. So I want someone to just be, I think, secure to a certain extent in who they are.
Yeah.
And I can't deny that now at 34, I do think that I would need to meet someone who also kind of has a bit of their own life. Like I would need someone to be able to, or not need, I would want someone to be able to come in and scoop me up, hold me whilst I cry. Do you know what I mean? Take me on holiday.
I think that's a fairly reasonable request.
Yeah.
Tash, you know?
Yeah.
So, for the male listeners that I have, when, like, we always talk a little bit, we talk about providers, right? This provider mindset that a lot of the women that I have on the show talk about, like, wanting. And do you identify with that? Is that something which you would say you're looking for?
That I want someone to provide for me.
Yeah.
I would like someone to provide for me, but I feel so proud of myself that I don't need that.
What does providing mean in your brain?
If someone was to come into my life and say they didn't have the money to buy a property and they didn't want to buy a property and that wasn't on their radar because they never have done or whatever, okay, cool. And they want to live with me.
Yeah.
All right, let's split everything half. Probably wouldn't let them pay the mortgage because that just gets complicated, but let's split the bills in half. Take me out for dinner. Take me on holiday. Oh, my car's fucked. Oh, I'll get this. Like, do you know, stuff like that?
Right. Well, that's almost like a quid pro quo, you scratch my back, I'll scratch your situation, right?
Yeah.
So I'll move in with you. That sounds fucking awesome. So, never been to Newport.
Yeah, you said you'd never done Wales.
No, exactly.
Yeah, so it's not like, I'm not looking for someone to come in and like, let me put my feet up and not work. I have no interest in that whatsoever.
Yeah.
I'm passionate about what I do and I want to be able to build my own success that, you know, I've worked so hard for. But there's definitely a desire to have someone come in and like, it's the pressure. Take the pressure off. Like,
I agree. And that works both ways.
100%. Yeah. But people talk about this 50-50. 50-50 is bollocks.
Yeah,
sometimes it's 70-30. Sometimes
agree.
it's 60-40.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, you know, if you were you're self-employed, right?
I am now. Well, I have my last job of my last day of full-time employment next Tuesday.
Oh,
and then I'm done.
congratulations.
Woo! So make sure you pay a sponsorship.
Yeah, I was just about to say, waiting for your invoice, right? No one has a job when they're waiting for an invoice,
No, that's
self-employed
true.
or not. So would it be lovely for someone to be like, I'll get these next couple of weeks. Yes, thank you.
Exactly.
Because there's only so many emails I can send, like, hello, mortgage doesn't get paid until you pay me.
Yeah.
And that sort of pressure, living on my own, and like my dogs are my life, but it's still a responsibility. Like if I want to go on holiday, I have to think, can he have them? Can we arrange those dates? And, you know.
This is the thing. And it does work both ways. And
100%.
I mean, I know this is a very simplistic way of looking at it, but I think the thing about relationships is, right, it's never going to be about equality. Equality is a load of bollocks because it dictates that you're both putting in equal amounts of the same things. And that's not how relationships work. It's about, I mean, equity is a good way of describing it, right? It's like my girlfriend, the value that she provides is that she loves to take care of me, and that feels amazing, and it feels wonderful to be nurtured. And I'll, you know, have a super stressful few days at work, and then we'll hang out on Saturday, and it just gives me so much energy, just feeling that way.
Yeah.
And then I'm ready again, and I'm ready to go out. And she's just lost her job, and I'm fully prepared that for the next couple of months, until she gets back on her feet again, I'm paying for everything. Yeah, and that's fair because that's how it works.
But and it's the same as, like, you know, I love cooking, and I am a bit of a control freak, and I am a bit like, I like things my way.
Yeah.
But I also think that the next man that comes into my life needs to be like, yeah, cool, I know that. Go and sit down, I'm making dinner. Like,
Yeah.
I need that level of assertiveness, because
Right.
otherwise I will just provide for myself because it's kind of all I know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I definitely need someone a bit strong-willed, because
Right.
I'm probably hard work a bit.
I have nothing to offer on this subject outside of you're a wonderful human.
Thanks.
So, when we did the prep call for the show, there are a couple of things that I just want to talk about.
Yeah.
So the first one was, I see this a lot in breakups as well, where when you have a public persona, right, and when you are someone that's willing to share everything, often you'll get feedback, whether that's from friends and family, whether it's from your audience, saying like, the right decision, or, you deserve better.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a positive thing, or do you think that's the other way?
First of all, nobody, absolutely nobody but you knows what went on.
Yeah.
Right? I have a YouTube channel. Obviously, that's like a weekly thing, right? So I'm filming something of my week.
Yeah.
And he would be in it heavily.
Uh-huh.
And then I do my Instagram and the podcast, and I share a lot.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, I probably share 3% of what actually happens.
Right.
So when you start getting people say, and I did in the last breakup, like, oh my God, I don't believe in love anymore. Like, if you've split up, that's it. And I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
Like, we were great. We were really great. But there were a lot of things that weren't great and were really hard to navigate. Like, when I met him, he was not even knees deep. He was underground in addiction, and I didn't know. And we worked through that together. He went sober. They say, like NA and all of that, they say don't go into a relationship for the first 2 years of your sobriety, because it's just, you have to focus on yourself. But we navigated through that together.
Amazing.
People didn't know that until like a year and a half of us being together online. So the outside noise you really have to take with a pinch of salt. But I don't find that part hard. What I find hard is your immediate noise, so your close friends and family, because even then they just don't know. They don't know what happens and how your relationship is. And I always try and think about it in, like, when I'm looking at other people and I'm thinking, oh God, is that a bit weird that you said that? And, I care about them so much. Should I bring it up or whatever?
Yeah.
Only you and only that person know what went on and know what that love is and how it works and stuff. But it is hard, because demonizing people and making out like, I find it really disingenuous, right? That when we're together, if everyone's all happy to talk about our marriage one day, and then when we split up, they're like, well,
thought that's gonna happen.
I did think that he XYZ, or I did think that maybe you were, and I'm like, well, you didn't say that back then, for starters.
Yeah.
And it does make it really complicated, because I've always been the sort of person that I will ask 25 people their advice, and I do I want anyway.
Yeah.
But I've really tried to change that as I've gotten older. And this relationship has been the biggest one for me, where I've had to just keep my blinkers on and focus on like me and him and us and what's best for those three situations.
Yeah.
Without the outside noise.
I gotta say, I mean, I really resonate with this, and I resonate even in my current situation with my partner, where I'm like, all I'm going to focus on is that person, and whether or not we're right for each other, and making sure she's happy. But then, I mean, we're meeting a load of my friends on Sunday, and part of my like monkey brain, or
you want to know if they like it.
Exactly, and there is almost a case of being like, part of my brain goes to like, Sonia, these are the kind of people they are, so maybe like interact with them this way, and then I'm like, that's completely wrong. I should not be thinking about that at all. But that's a deep desire to feel like you're part of the tribe, that you're being validated. And I suppose social media in particular probably exacerbate that even more, because...
And that's such a normal feeling. Like, when you love someone and when you fall in love with someone, you obviously want everyone else to love them. Like, there's no two ways about it.
Exactly.
But I think if I was to give anyone advice, having... if they've got someone that's going through a breakup, try and reserve your feelings towards it and just like listen to what they need to share, because it is not helpful hearing things when you're in the trenches of heartbreak. Listen, in the beginning, I would be the same. If I introduce someone to my friends, if I've not got to text them within 30 seconds, it does really mean a lot to me that my friends approve or that my friends like that person, for sure. And I think that's a really normal thing. But the people that you get that from, I actually think you should only be able to count on one hand anyway.
I agree. I also think, reflecting on it now, it's sort of when I'm in a new relationship, right, it's incredible and it feels amazing, but there's a natural level of distrust that I'm always going to have with that it's going to fall apart. And that's from my own childhood stuff, right? But having other people reinforce the fact that it's good makes me feel more self-assured in that relationship. So just like when I go through a breakup, I almost want people to reinforce the fact that we've broken up and say that was the right thing to do. Yeah. But that's not coming from a healthy place at all. That's my own stuff that I need to work through.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think I'm with you on that one. You want to build that trust for yourself that I left because and I'm with because.
Yeah, exactly.
And I am really trying to like hone in on that mindset moving forward. And it's the same, everyone's saying to me, "Oh my God, you're glowing now, you're single. Like, I can't wait to see your single era." And I have no intention of going on dating apps. But what am I going to do if I walk out of here today and the man of my dreams, like, I've only been out of a relationship for 3 months and then prior to that it was 2 years, and then prior to that it was 9 years. Like, I have been in a lot of relationships, but am I going to let all of that outside noise and all of that outside judgment like deny me of my happiness?
Well, exactly.
No, I'm not.
And it's also, again, that point around reinforcing or seeking validation from others is like, when someone says to you that you're absolutely glowing, you're like, the reality is I ate a fucking 750 gram box of Kellogg's cornflakes this morning out of the box. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's not true. That puts on too much pressure. Yeah. So
is that what you do? When you break up?
Is
it cornflakes?
Mine's
been Cocoa Pops. Everyone's like, "Have you eaten today?" I'm like, "Yeah, a bowl of Cocoa Pops."
A bowl of Cocoa Pops. Full fat milk. There was another point you made before we shot about no contact and whether or not that's the right thing to do.
Had we gone no contact when we spoke?
You were going to.
Psychology says that it's meant to happen, doesn't it?
I believe so. I mean, it's for me, it's the easiest way of getting over someone, but I don't know if it's necessarily the right way.
It is easier. And we didn't have that option when my first partner, because we had the dogs and because we owned the house together, there were a lot of logistics that we had to talk through. And even now, we literally just talk about the dogs, but it's a really nice setup. Like, we'll send each other pictures of the dogs on the beach. They are literally our children. There's just no different. But with this second one, we decided that we would stay in contact. And then I think I realized that the contact was increasing, but it wasn't increasing in a way of all of those misalignments are now starting to realign, so let's stay in contact. It was increasing in the form of a comfort.
Right.
So we were kind of two best friends.
Yeah.
He's like quite far away and I'm where I am, back in the house that we lived in together and shared all these memories. My anxiety was just going through the roof.
I can imagine.
And I was the one who made this decision to cut contact. But I'm quite shocked at that level of like strength from me, because it was a comfort having my best friend. Like, I've never been loved by anyone the way that man loved me. So there was definitely moments in those early days where I was like, no one is ever going to love me again like that, like ever. And I digress slightly, but one of my friends told me this amazing piece of advice and I just feel like it would be good to share. But when I said that to her, she went, "Yeah, you're right. No one is going to love you the way that he loved you. But that doesn't mean that you aren't going to be loved again. It's just that love's going to be different.
It's just going to be shit."
Yeah, it's just going to be rubbish. And when she said that to me, I was like, do you know what? You're so right. So I've fully changed my mindset on that, which is just so sweet. She's one of those people that just like drops half a sentence out of nowhere and it stays with you for like ever.
Does she want to come on a podcast talking about emotions?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
I'll ask her. So yeah, that it's been easier for me since we've cut contact. The distance is what makes the reality in the forefront. When you're still in contact, you start romanticizing things and you start forgetting all of the reasons why it wasn't working. And that's dangerous territory, because you can just end up looping and looping and looping. And that's what was really hard for me and my ex-partner. Not probably for him, but for me it was really hard, because I was like untangling all of these logistical things, thinking it would have been easier to have stayed.
Stay together.
It would have been easier to say, there's no denying it.
Yeah.
It just would have been.
How did that love show up? What did it
Which
feel
one?
like? The love that you're never going to have again, Sasha. The love from your most recent relationship.
The love that ruined you and you will stay ruined for. How did it show up for me?
Yeah.
Do you know, I think it was for the first time in my life I was truly seen and truly understood in an emotional capacity. So I felt like emotionally held in a way that I never have been before. And I mean that in the sense of family, friendship, in every way.
Yeah.
I'd never met someone who understood me the way that he did. And with that level of understanding comes the safety to just 100% be yourself in all of the good and bad bits. But it is that classic phrase of sometimes just love isn't enough. And that's kind of how I feel about that one. But I'm so grateful that I got to experience that. And that even like, I'm telling you this, right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be appropriate for me to also share the really bad things that happened, like the addiction, the things that he went through, the way he processed emotion when he was angry or scared or upset. Like, I'm obviously not sharing that. So even now I'm giving you this picture and you're probably thinking, what the fuck's she leaving for? Do you know what I mean?
I want to shag him. Sorry, I just wanted to hold me.
He does do a good hold.
Right.
He does do a good hold.
Yeah.
But do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm giving you the highlights. You don't want the highlights, do you? You want the rouse.
Where I'm finding it difficult to fully understand it, yeah, it's because a lot of what I know about addiction is people that do really struggle to process their own emotions, and so that can often be the vehicle to release, right? And it's the same with anger and some of those negative emotions. They are a release. So I suppose when you have that on one side, and then the fact that he was capable of making you feel so seen and heard and understood, how do those two things end up conflicting with each other?
Like fire and petrol.
Right.
Or like, what is it?
I thought you were going to go for fire and ice then.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Right.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Fire and ice. Like literally, it was all of that good.
Yeah.
And then the pain that would come from the bad was undescribable. And I didn't know anything about addiction. I was so naive. I'm like a nun when it comes to drugs and drink. I was spiked when I was 18. So my relationship with alcohol is very sensible. Eldest daughter, very sensible. Like my younger brother, mental. But I've always just been really steady on my feet with stuff like that. So I had no idea and I knew nothing about addiction. And now I know so much about it. But it's a very insular, selfish.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say disease because we'd need a whole nother episode on my opinion on addicts and addiction, the way that's seen. But it's a way of life, I think. And with the traumas that he brought to the table, like in terms of what he carried, I think he had so much processing to do with those. And we processed a lot together and we helped each other a lot. But there like came an end game, I guess, with how much further that could go.
It's interesting because when I reflect on it, I mean, my uncle suffered with addiction a lot.
Oh, really?
And the way that I'd describe it in your case and in his case would be like, it's the ability to show up for others, but not to show up for yourself.
Yeah.
And so he can make you feel like the most incredible person, like make you feel like he understands you so deeply. You can have that. These aren't mutual things, but still not be able to understand your own self.
Yeah.
And I saw that in my uncle so much, where he was the most charismatic, incredible man, but then he suffered so much when he was by himself. And it's really interesting to sort of reflect on that.
Yeah, that does make sense. And I think as well, I remember being so upset that, why didn't he fight for me? If I was the best thing that ever happened to him, and if I was this, if I changed his life and all of that, and I helped him do all of this, why couldn't he fight for me? And I think the only peace I ended up making was he couldn't fight for himself. So how was he able to fight for me? Like, how can I expect that of someone?
Yeah.
And I think that's why there's so much love there. Like, I really hope that he can do that for himself.
Yeah.
Because he just, everyone deserves to be happy, don't they?
They do. When we spoke before, you sort of felt that there might be a trend of you perhaps look for people that you can help, right, in relationships. And was that something which you saw a trend throughout all of your relationships? Was that the most recent one?
Yeah, it's a difficult one. Someone asked me this question last night, actually, which is good timing because it means I've already answered it. I'm a very, very unjudgmental person, and it is a quality that I sort of value in myself. If you were to line up all my friends and the way that I spend time with those friends, you'd be like, what the fuck? Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
But I really like that because it means that I don't have requirements for how people need to be in order to have access to me and my energy and stuff like that. It's so much deeper than that.
Yeah.
So when I meet, or when I've met men and there've been things that perhaps I'm a bit like, oh God, I don't know how that would fit with my life, or can't imagine putting him in front of my dad and stuff like that. I've always just continued through them.
Yeah.
Because I think that it kind of goes back to that thing of like where the bar is. It's accepting that, everyone's just trying to do their best. Everyone's just trying to show up as best they can. Like, let's just give a bit of grace.
Sure.
Where that line falls of, can I pour my all into helping you and saying that I believe in you and I can see that this version of yourself and I'm going to help you get there. How much of myself I give to that and remain for myself is a line that I'm yet to navigate. Because even when I met my first partner, he, 6 months into our relationship, had a huge breakdown and went on a sabbatical from work, and I helped him through that like phase of depression and stuff like that. So and then we had 9 wonderful years together. So there's no black and white in fixing someone or helping someone. I feel like it's such a grey, nuanced area. But I think I would just be so wary moving forward with how much of myself I give in acknowledgement for what I'm getting back. Does that make sense?
It does. I mean, my question to that was, there is a huge amount of value, worth, in your ability to step up for someone else. And often, in my experience, that can reflect in your own well-being. It makes you feel good about yourself to be there for somebody else.
Yeah.
And, one of my absolute principles in life is that human beings are put on this earth to support others. That's one of the keys to our happiness. So I wouldn't necessarily always look at it as a bad thing.
No, I think I'm starting to see that now.
Yeah.
I think like the TikTok noise can get so loud, like ick culture, I cannot fucking bear it.
Yeah.
And even this settle culture is pissing me off, and like where the bar's set and stuff like that. But I actually value the fact that I'm capable of seeing someone and being like I believe you can do this. Like, I believe you can be this person, because I would also want someone to do that for me. Like, that's what I expect back. And I think that's actually a positive thing. But yeah, it's just knowing that line of where
boundaries. But yeah, it's interesting because, I mean, it's another TikTok thing. It's like the negotiable versus non-negotiable thing. And it sounds like there aren't many non-negotiables that you have. You go into every relationship with an open mind, right?
Yeah, I think I'm quite open-minded.
Yeah. But then when you think about that initial attraction to somebody, if we look forward to when you're ready to date again, how does that come up? Who do you go for? Like,
I'm just waiting for them to come to me,
right.
I think.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know if I've even thought that far ahead.
Yeah.
I think I definitely have the requirements of like, I need to be able to be seen and understood and be able to feel myself. But there are sort of certain things that, like, I spent Christmas Day with my best friend, right?
Yeah.
Because we broke up 5 weeks before Christmas. And I was dreading it, really dreading it, because Christmas is like happy family time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, just like being on the sofa not being on the sofa, I would think I was cleaning up or I was doing something in the kitchen. And then she'd gone into the lounge and she'd like put all the candles on and like judged the lounge up a bit, and then I walked into the lounge and it was all really lovely, and it was just like a tiny little thing that means so much to me, that I think moving forward, that care back for me is what I want to feel. Because that's how I want to make other people, and that's how I do make other people feel. Like I want that for myself. But I don't know what the next person looks like. A legend, hopefully.
I'm sure they will be. But I mean, my hot take on this stuff, based off what I know so far at this point in my life, is that I don't think that comes naturally to a lot of men. I really don't.
No, it doesn't. I do understand lesbians the more older I get.
Yeah, they're honestly, because it's just two lovely, thoughtful, caring people in a relationship together.
Yeah.
But what I can say is that, you know, as I've gotten older, like you start to understand the positive benefit in doing that stuff for someone else. And I have this like toxic theory, which is like, right, everything you do in life is inherently selfish.
Yeah.
But if I'm doing that for someone else, it's because I know that will make me feel good. And as long as you're doing it for the right reasons, making yourself feel good is okay. And I find that with my girlfriend. She loves like little thoughtful things and reminding her that, you know, I'm there for her.
Yeah.
And so I try and do one of those things every single day.
Yeah.
It's net benefit because it makes her feel great, but it also makes me feel really good.
Yeah.
It's like looking in the mirror and thinking like, yeah, you're a good guy. And that feels really nice.
Yeah. And I think the lounge thing was probably a bad example, because it's like, it is such a feminine thing to do. But like someone the other day, we were on the sofa and he just got up and was like, I'm going to make a coffee. Do you want me to make you one?
Right.
And I said, yes, please.
Yeah.
And then he said, do you want brown sugar or white sugar? And I was like, brown sugar.
Well, who was that? Just a rando?
Just a friend.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is those cute little things that like make a relationship a relationship.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I love the fact that I know exactly how she wants her coffee, and I can make that for her every morning when we're in bed together. Like it's such a nice feeling.
Yeah.
But 10 years ago, I'd have been like, nah.
Make your own
Why's
coffee.
that important? Yeah, exactly. I'm like, let's just shag.
I think my gays have set the bar so high. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, they're at fault for that, aren't they?
They are at fault for that, yeah.
The pinnacle of masculinity.
Sorry, I really cut you off when you were like, let's just shag.
I'm hoping they'll cut that bit out, to be honest. One of the questions that I want to ask you is, when we spoke on the phone, you said that you were trying to sort of reconcile this breakup, but there were times in that relationship which were the happiest that you've ever been. How do you reconcile that? Like, surely you just want to be at the happiest point you've ever been.
Yeah, but now I'm the happiest I've ever been.
Are you? That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm really happy about that.
Thank you.
So,
should we high five?
Okay.
That's the thing, though, isn't it, about happiness and like the feelings that you're sat in.
Yeah.
You've just kind of got to know that they're going to flow and you're going to feel different. And I'm also the most confident I've ever been in my life. But I hope in 6 months' time, I'm even more confident than I am now and happier than I am now. I think that's kind of how Are
there things that you've taken from that relationship which have contributed to your current happiness?
Yeah.
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 That's how I'd always look back on a relationship.
I think they all do, right? They all give us, like, what is it? Season, reason, lifetime or something like that. Season, lesson, lifetime.
Oh, go
you know
on,
what I'm trying
expand that one. I don't know what that means.
Like, people come into your life.
Yeah.
And leave your life, but they're here for a reason or to teach you something or a lifetime. So like I've half given you the quote, but I've given you a good explanation of the quote that I don't really know.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Are you with me?
Season, reason.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry. But yeah. Do you think it's possible to meet someone for a lifetime?
Oh, that's such a good question, because that feeds into I don't have any example of a lifetime love. Do you?
No, I don't. No.
That's good. It's positive.
Pathetic. Losers.
Yeah,
Learn
so
to be on your own.
my mum and dad obviously divorced. My dad's remarried now. He's been with his wife, now wife, for like 10 years. I don't know if I believe in forever, especially in this day and age. I do really question it. It's funny as well that I'm actually divorced, because I'm quite scared of marriage. I'm quite scared of that commitment. Like, how do you know? Like, how do you know that person is right?
Yeah, you don't.
You don't.
And even if at that moment they are absolutely right, you're absolutely certain, you
They
don't
might
know
not
where
be
they're
in
going to
3
grow.
years.
Yeah, like, and I'm firmly of the belief that nobody should really have a very serious long-term relationship until they're 25 onwards.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree.
think it's impossible.
Yeah.
I honestly, Sash, even 5 years ago, I was not ready. I did not know myself well enough.
to know what you wanted.
Yeah. And I know there's this whole thing where men mature slower than women, la la la, but I would not be able to show up the way that I do with my partner 5 years ago. Like, no way.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing for me has been about like understanding your ego and understanding that when you fuck up in a relationship and you're called out about it,
You own that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not a personal slight. They're not going to fucking leave you because you left the fucking dishes in the sink. Like, it's just a thing and it happens. And like, once that switched around for me and I was like, right, I need to stop thinking about protecting myself all the time and just showing up for someone else. It's like light bulb moment.
But that's the thing about love though, isn't it? Love is such a vulnerable state to enter into. Like, if you want to feel the depths of love, you have to make sure that you're ready to have it taken away from you at any point. And that is the pit.
Still scares me now, even talking about that. Like, the thought of losing my person is horrible.
Yeah.
And it makes you paranoid and it makes you question yourself and it makes you question the behaviour of your partner.
Yeah.
And I hate that feeling.
Yeah.
But
that is part and parcel of love, of being in love.
I don't want that.
Are you avoidant?
I was massively avoidant all the way through my adult life, yeah.
And now?
Better at it because I understand it, but if someone was to ask me to describe my attachment style, it'd still be avoidant.
Yeah.
You know? But leaning into more secure now, I'd hope.
Yeah.
What about you?
I've always been more anxious, for sure. Yeah. And I think I'm the same. I'm definitely feeling a different level of secure now. I don't think you would ever be secure fully. I don't think that's possible.
No, I don't either.
And I think like, so long as you recognize that, and I do really work through it. Like, if I feel anxious about something, and I'm going to have to take it through dating as well, you know, if someone's not going to text me back, it's probably because he's fucking busy.
I know.
And he'll text me back when he's free or when he's got time to dedicate. I don't even text my friends back unless I'm in the right headspace or unless I've got time for it. Like, so I'm trying to unlearn all of those anxieties because it's only going to make me a better partner moving forward.
Exactly.
Whereas it was definitely harder in my second relationship because the addiction side of things really ramped up my anxieties. Like, it added a whole new layer of anxieties that I'd never experienced before. So you're not just worried about, is he going to go off with other women? And we did have sort of mistrust in the beginning, very early as well. So there was so much of me that was just paranoid, and I don't want to do that moving forward as best I can.
I suppose it's a brand new thing to navigate in a relationship, isn't it? And it's like understanding how you navigate is impossible when you've never experienced it before.
And it's different with every person you meet.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Hugely.
All right, final section of the show. I'm going to ask you a few questions. Let's call them quick fire questions, but they're not.
Okay.
Put a bit of oomph into them.
Okay.
But they're the big questions that when we cut this up for Instagram later, then they'll look good. If someone's listening, right, and realises that they're
wants to marry me.
And wants to marry 13% male audience, so there might be.
Right, okay,
it's
fine.
13% of 10 people, so it's one male person.
Right, okay, brilliant.
If someone's listening and realises that their relationship feels a bit like a renovation project, or they're trying to fix their partner, what's the first thing that they should do or ask themselves?
Well, this is really practical advice, but me and my ex-husband were in therapy before we split up, and it's what I suggested with my last partner before we split up. So for me, I'm like a huge therapy advocate. I think it's great. I think it's great to have someone totally unrelated step in to try and help you both see things from different points of view. Yeah. Because if you think about, what we spoke about, no contact, right? Think of how differently you see things once you've removed that contact. How differently you would then see things if somebody non-related to your situation came in and in a professional way was like, right, let's put this on the table. Let's put that on the table. Your feelings. Let's see if we can navigate something together. I think that's a really powerful thing to try and do. And it's also takes the pressure off just these two people who are in love, intertwined with all this emotion and passion, trying to work through it.
That's the thing. The incredible thing about relationship therapy is like there is always going to be imbalance in your relationship, but it's never going to be the both of you that acknowledges where that sits because you're both having different experiences
and feeling different things and reacting differently.
Exactly. And when you have a third party that's like, well, Tom, maybe you're not showing up in the way that you should be over the last few weeks, then I trust that person almost more than I trust my partner.
100%. And I'm also really receptive to that.
Yeah.
I actually do like to be told about myself.
Yeah, same.
Good ways and bad ways. I like to be validated and told to check myself.
Same. I would just rather be told about myself by someone that I don't love deeply because it feels like a personal slight. But that's my avoidance.
For sure.
So
I love how we've like gently unpacked just some real deep things. Like, yeah, and that one.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you distinguish between supporting a partner through a hard time and like waiting forever for someone to change?
Oh God.
Difficult one.
I think it depends where you are in life, what you want from life. For instance, I am 34. I think I want to have children.
Yeah, fair.
I've like scientifically not got all the time in the world. When I was 19, I had a different level of patience, or, you know, even 22, whatever, like early 20s. I think communication, I know everybody says it, communication is the most important thing in a relationship, for sure.
Yeah.
Having those regular, open conversations. Do you know what? When I say communication, I mean the complete and utter ability for you to say exactly what is on your mind in safety, that's going to be held.
Exactly. It's not
And
how they're feeling.
yeah. And vice versa. And that is a very, very hard thing. Like we had incredible communication, incredible, but there were moments when that wasn't possible. For me, I didn't feel that anyway. And I'm sure he would have felt the same. Otherwise we'd still be together. But I think if you have that level of communication, you would be able to then navigate, where are we on this pull and push of, am I supporting you to my own detriment, or do you just need this support right now because you're committed to pushing through the other end, and then it'll balance back out again.
Exactly. And it takes a lot of self-reflection to be able to answer that question. All right. Here's a good one. We hear the phrase, know your worth a lot, but how do you actually apply that when you're like attached to someone, when your heart's attached to someone?
Go no contact.
Well, it probably is, isn't it?
It is probably go no contact, yeah.
But I think there would be a lot of people listening that would think, right, I know my worth, but I feel like I'm in a relationship where my worth isn't being acknowledged. How do I understand when that relationship's not right for me?
Well, your self-worth is exactly that. It's the worth of yourself, isn't it? It's not, that can't be given to you by someone else.
Yeah.
So whether you're in a happy relationship that's going to last a lifetime or a relationship that's going to last 2 years, I think it would be a disservice to yourself to not work on that worth, regardless of what that other person feels and makes you feel.
Yeah.
So, for example, this is like mega vulnerable for the end of the episode, but one of the things I think I've always struggled with is I've always found my sexiness validated by other men, right? Whether that's partners or men I've spoken to when I've been single. And it's them who have made me feel sexy or told me that I'm sexy.
Yeah.
And it's only now, at this age, having gone through those relationships and any other interaction I've had, that I've finally acknowledged I have got to feel sexy regardless of if a man finds me sexy or not.
Sure.
And that's something that like I am now dedicated and committed to doing.
Yeah.
And that's like my own thing to unpack. But that is me honouring self-worth for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's beautiful.
And then how amazing will it be when I show up in my next relationship?
Exactly.
I don't give a shit whether he finds me well sexy. Well, I do give a shit, but do you know what I mean? Like it's going to be different.
But I think if you can ever find yourself even close to that place, that's the most healthy way to enter a relationship, because it's about understanding that your only real validation needs to come from yourself. And then also you're not going to go into that relationship with fear that if that person goes away, you're no longer going to feel that reassurance.
Oh, I'm not sexy anymore.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying that I need to be full term, I feel the sexiest woman on the world. That's not what I'm saying. But I've acknowledged it, I've accepted it, and I'm committed to doing something about it. And to me, that's enough. And that's how I feel about someone else. If they bring their insecurities to the table, but that's their outlook on it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Let's make a baby, whatever.
Let's make a baby. And on that...
Do you want to cut that as well?
On that note, we're going to bring the episode to a close. Thank you for being so open
you.
And vulnerable. You've been amazing. Is there anything that you want to talk about in terms of what you're up to? Anything you want to plug or promo before we bring it to a close?
Maybe our podcast.
Yeah,
if you've got loads of women, Spill.
Yeah, what's it about?
Me and Bill, so we've been best friends for 28 years. I met her when I was at primary school. I was 5 years old and I just used to watch her go. It's actually quite a bit weird, really. Used to watch her go into assembly and want to give her a hug. And then our families ended up becoming really close. Yeah. They're all intertwined and we're all just like really, one big Me and Bill's just chat shit.
But so is it about the moment you met in assembly? Or
No, we do. We talk about the messy years of your 20s and 30s, mainly 30s, and just like how we're navigating it. All of these things that we've spoken about. It's a safe space for like women to feel less alone, I guess. Well, anyone, but predominantly women.
Okay, amazing. Honestly, and thank you. And it's a shame that I can't come on your podcast because I'm not single anymore.
I know, we wanted you on there. We really want a single man to talk about dating. Although, do you know what? You'd probably be open enough to talk about it.
Yeah, I've been in the trenches.
You could talk about your past.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Bet you were a fucking nightmare back in the day, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. I mean, I used to think about it as being a top shagger, but that's the wrong way of thinking about it, isn't
Fucking
it?
nightmare confirmed.
So, but no, I'd love to. I'd love to. It'd be
Yeah,
fun.
we'll do that.
Awesome. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And guys, thank you again for listening in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, massage, any sort of action that you can take to
He
the
wants
podcast
validating.
is always great. It helps my own sense of worth, and also means we can carry on making more beautiful episodes. So thank you very much.